If you're looking for the best couplers to connect your 10,000 PSI pumps, cylinders, systems, and other tools, you are in luck. My goal with this video is to help answer that very question, so let's get started. Hi y'all, I'm Clay with Gustin Hydraulics. Since 1954, our specialty has been the sales and service of high-pressure hydraulic tools and equipment, representing manufacturers like Enerpac, PowerTeam, OTC, Simplex, Norco, pretty much every other brand, so we know a thing or two. As always, I'll put links for everything that I'll be talking about in this video down below in the descriptions. If this is your first time here and you want to learn more, click subscribe in the bottom right of your screen. Also click the bell icon to be notified of new videos. Share us with your team, your safety directors, your tool crib managers, the people using these tools. Since many applications can benefit from the use of quick disconnect couplers to more easily connect and disconnect hoses from pumps, cylinders, and other tools, this video is essentially part 2 of our high pressure hose selection video, so you might want to go check that one out right here if you haven't yet. We'll get to the most prevalent couplers near the end of this video, but let's start with one of the later advancements in couplers, the very useful dripless, also known as flat face couplers. These are referred to as dripless because they are much less likely to drip compared to other couplers, thanks to what you could call a piston or a plunger inside each half of the coupler that's sealed with an O-ring. That's a really great feature to have when avoiding spillage is important. The flat face design of these couplers also makes them much easier to clean off before you connect them to help you keep dirt and debris out of your system, which can cause problems with your pumps and valves and other system components. These couplers push together, unlike the most other couplers where they're threaded. So when you push them together, they snap, so you know they're connected. Once they're connected, they generally don't come apart like threaded couplers can come unthreaded with machine vibration or moving hoses and pumps and cylinders around. The design of these couplers is more complex, so the cost is higher, but the benefits of avoiding improper connection, system contamination, and spillage can easily justify that cost difference. Note of caution here, as with all system components, couplers, fittings, hoses, everything in your system, make sure that what you have is rated at 10,000 PSI if that's what your pump puts out. There are many other low pressure components that look virtually identical to these, so if you're not sure, take the time and make sure that what you're using is properly rated for the pressure you're using. Okay, on to the smaller ones. What I'm referring to here is the handful of other 10,000 PSI couplers, smaller than the much more prevalent 3/8 NPT variety. Most of these smaller couplers are quarter NPT. In fact, the only exceptions I can think that are still physically smaller overall, but still has 3/8 NPT threads, is the Enerpac A604, the Blackhawk equivalent, and then there's also a Norco that I believe is interchangeable. But as far as interchangeability goes, I don't recommend using one brand with another, as close as they might seem to each other. I'll explain why in a moment. All of these smaller ones have a lower flow rate at about 1/5 of their 3/8 inch counterparts, which are right around 2,500 cubic inches per minute. These smaller couplers and fittings, if higher flows aren't needed, are nice because they're smaller. The shorter lengths means less possibility of bending or breaking. They're just a smaller target, lesser weight, and even lesser cost in most cases. For some side-by-side comparison, the one on your left is the 3/8 Enerpac A604. The one on your right is the quarter-inch Enerpac A630. Torque wrench couplers. These look pretty much identical to the ones I'm going to talk about next, other than they are smaller and they are quarter-inch NPT. I refer to these as torque wrench couplers really just because the only place I had ever seen these couplers before was on hydraulic torque wrenches, and that was pretty much 100% of hydraulic torque wrench couplers. Other than that, you can really use them anywhere else that you need 1/4 inch NPT and 10,000 PSI or less rating. Because a lot of pressure gauges are 1/4 inch NPT, I see this torque coupler get used in the situation where people want to disconnect their pressure gauges, their expensive pressure gauges, from their system before they transport it. Also in this category of small couplers is another 1/4 inch NPT that fits right here in the scale that fit the majority of the import collision repair kits. So we've finally arrived at the most prevalent coupler, the 3/8 NPT 10,000 PSI. It's used on probably 90% or better of Enerpac, Power Team, Simplex, etc. All of those 10,000 PSI industrial brands. This coupler style is so prevalent for good reason. Bang for the buck. They're very tough at a great price point. They have a knurled threaded collar. They are considered high flow, so you aren't restricting the flow that you may have with 3/8 ID hoses and larger flow pumps. Both halves of the coupler have check valves, either cones or balls in them that are spring-loaded from the backside to check the oil to prevent oil from running out when disconnected. Not quite as efficiently as the flush face couplers that I mentioned at the first of this video. As far as cross-compatibility goes with different brands with this type of coupler, I don't recommend it. I've seen some used with success, no apparent problems, but I've seen failures as well. Another problem that you may never realize is that because of the dimensional differences that are possible from brand to brand, if the cone here that checks the oil when these are disconnected isn't depressed all the way when connected, you can be restricting the flow. Beyond that, a blocked coupler can cause a very dangerous situation in a double acting system. You'll want to check out our video right here on coupler safety. For the sake of safety and to avoid possible downtime and restricted flow affecting your overall efficiency, it's best to just not take a chance with using different couplers with each other. Just a reminder, down below in the description, I'm going to add links to our website that will take you to detailed PDFs of all of these products from all of the manufacturers that I've mentioned. Do me a favor, if I missed anything, please let me know in the comments down below. We appreciate it. You help us build our channel in a positive direction that helps everybody. Thanks again and work safe. And please remember, if you don't love us on Insta-Twit and thumbs up us on Facegram, and we're nobodies. And click the bell looking thingy. On Twitgram, you can, I don't remember what you do there. There's another one. What is it? That is not what I said. We've got it on video. Hello?